Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. This one got some comic news to mention. Not a lot of it is new, but I think it's worth kind of updating you guys about. What it is that Dark Horse Comics have released their solicitations for the month of July, and in it are 3 Avatar items, Avatar books basically. And all of them are coming out in September, so obviously you're asking the question straight away, why are 3 books coming out in September in the July solicitations? The reason for this, I don't fully understand, but the basic idea being that in these solicitations, the Avatar items aren't the only things in there. All of Dark Horse's books coming out in around this time are in this list. All of the ones with July dates are going to be like individual single issues of comics for the most part. More or less anything that's like a graphic novel type thing or a kind of special type of book, or I think a lot of merchandise tends to be coming out a month or two later, so it's kind of advanced solicitations for that sort of stuff, but exact release date stuff for the stuff in July. So it's weird. I don't fully get why like this stuff isn't just put in the September solicitations, but I suppose for this stuff it takes a bit longer to do, so that's why they tend to announce it beforehand. But let's get straight into what we're talking about here. The first thing on the list is Avatar: The Last Airbender North and South Part 1. I think everyone knows that this is the next comic series at this point in time. That's not new. We have the covers for all 3 parts at this point. The different thing here is the release date. The release date, as is listed in the solicitations here, which are usually correct, it says September 14th, which is a Wednesday, which means that's the comic book store release date for this book, September 14th, which would suggest a September 27th regular bookstore, like mass market release. Now, this kind of contradicts a few little things in the sense of like when the book was initially announced, kind of leaked by Penguin Random House, it was listed as coming out on the 14th, and so this is what we expected. But then when Comic Book Resources posted the exclusive reveal of the part 2 and 3 cover, they listed there that the release date for this book was September 28th in comic book stores, which would have been October 11th for mass market. So now we're back to the 14th/27th as the release date, and I'm a little bit confused as to what's really going on, because the other factor in this is that at the end of Smoke and Shadow Part 3, on the the page after the last page, they just have a little kind of coming soon thing, and it's and it has Smoke and Shadow Part 1, and it says coming October 2016. So if it's coming out on the 14th, that means neither the comic book store or the mass market release date is actually in October. So what's the deal here? Has it been, pushed like back a little, I suppose forward a bit, like the release, or what? It's very confusing, but somewhere between the 14th and the 28th, this book will be out in comic book stores. Right now they're saying the 14th, so I'm assuming that's the release date. So just be aware of that. Nothing else to really say about it. The description is the exact same as we've got before. No need to really go into that. It's just the release date thing. That's the kind of thing that's in any way different. Second item on the list, the Avatar: The Last Airbender Smoke and Shadow Library Edition. This is the hardcover collection of Smoke and Shadow, and all this is all 3 parts of Smoke and Shadow, part 1, 2, and 3, collected into one hardcover. The art's going to be a little bit bigger. There's going to be space for annotations on the sides of the pages from Gene Yang and Team Gurihuru, and then at the end there's going to be some concept art pages, a little kind of sketchbook type thing from Team Gurihuru for some of the new designs for this comic series. Your standard library edition thing that we've come to expect, as has been the case with The Promise, The Search, and The Rift already. Now, this is Smoke and Shadow's hardcover edition. I'm looking forward to it. The cover we've already seen before is quite nice. The release date for this is September 21st in comic book stores, which would suggest an October 4th release date everywhere else. Amazon currently has it listed as October 4th, so this seems completely set in stone. This is the release date. Now, September 21st is different from what we last heard. When this was initially revealed by Amazon, we thought I think it had it listed as the 28th. And now it's just coming out a week earlier, and I think everything's been adjusted now, so this is the release date, the 21st/4th of October. But anyone getting this first early, it's going to be the 21st in comic book stores, so that's good. Interesting, that the new comic, the first part of the new comic comes out, and then the following week we get the collection of the old comic. I'd almost reverse that for just consistency of releases, but it's tended to work that way for the most part the last couple of times, where any time a hardcover comes out, there's always something that has a release date very close to it. Nothing overly new to say about that. It just says, this special oversized edition features parts 1 to 3 with annotations by writer Jean Luen Yang and artist Guri Huru, and a sketchbook section with new behind the scenes material. Exactly what we expect. Last Avatar item on the list is the Legend of Korra poster collection, which keeps its release date that we've always had, September 28th for comic book stores, October 11th elsewhere. That hasn't changed since it was first announced. Covers the exact same. We finally, I think, have a description. I don't think we had this full description before, but it's not really anything to talk about. Regarded as one of the highest quality shows on TV, The Legend of Korra has garnered critical acclaim, dozens of awards, and thousands of fans since its 2012 debut. Relive all of your favourite moments with this oversized poster collection packed with stunning scenery and extraordinary characters. This is the only thing I think that's interesting to me, is that it mentions stunning scenery and extraordinary characters. To me, that is suggesting that it's going to, in terms of number of posters, going to be fairly similar to the ATLA poster collection, which means there's probably going to be at least 10 of these posters that are just scenery from the show, and probably only 10 of them are going to have characters on them. I hope that's not the case. I hope there's only a couple of scenery posters and most of them are character stuff, because the problem with the Avatar The Last Airbender poster collection, which came out last year, was that I think it was 13 or something like that of the posters were just scenery shots, and there was only a couple that featured characters. And even then, they tended to all be the same characters. I don't think any of the posters had Toph on them. Sokka was barely on any of them, and so on. So it's one of those ones I hope they just are a bit more kind of appealing to fans in terms of their poster choices. But it should be a really good book to get. Absolutely, if you couldn't get to any of the conventions, the cover is obviously one of the New York Comic Con posters for the Beginnings episode, so I'm getting this poster collection basically for that poster alone. I really want that piece of art, but the other posters should be good as well. So the main takeaway from this Solicitations is that September is going to be a big month for Avatar and Korra fans, or September going into October if you can't get them all in comic book stores. Basically between the 14th of September and the 11th of October, we're going to have the release of these books in comic book stores and everywhere else. You'll be able to get them. And especially if you have a local comic book store nearby, that's 3 weeks in a row where there's going to be an Avatar item being released. The September 14th, North and South Part 1. September 21st, Smoke and Shadow hardcover edition. September 28th, Korra poster collection. That's a really good month. And then, of course, in or around that time, it'll be the lead up to New York Comic Con. And just before that, we will have had news about the Korra comics at San Diego Comic Con. We'll probably have, obviously leading up to that, preview pages for North and South Part 1 as well. And, you know, I'd suspect, you know, preview pages for the Korra comics will be in or around that time as well. So September is definitely going to be the time of the year where Avatar, I think, comes back a little bit with the start of this, I think, comic series that a lot of people are looking forward to. You know, the return to the South Pole. That is a big thing for Avatar fans, where it all started, finally going back after all of this time. So that's going to be really important. But yeah, that's been the video. That's all the news I have today. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on these release dates. You know, the slight changing of some of the release dates, your hopes for these books. I think especially the poster collection, what you hope to have included in there. But I think most of all, let me know, are you going to be getting like any or just a couple of these items? I know I'm probably going to pick up all three. You know, obviously the poster collection and North and South take a priority over the, you know, the collection of the books I already have, but I'll definitely try and get the hardcover as well if I can. But yeah, in the comments let me know which ones you're getting. But other than that, thanks for watching, and bye.